Hey yo, how's everybody doing this fine Thursday night? Night for me, I guess, 8 p.m. All right, cool. Just checking to make sure everything's running here. All right, so, yeah, sorry for pushing the time tonight, but family wanted to go out and always love spending time with family. So, that is good. All right, let's get into Shenzhen. No more waiting around. Let's hop right on back in there. Traffic signals. Ooh, I don't know if we should build traffic signals based on how bad we did the other one. Goodness gracious. A 6-way intersection. Jeez. All right. Yep, that's what we got. Phases. Emergency is a simple input connected to a device that detects the transponders of nearby emergency vehicles. Light 0, 1, and 2 are simple outputs connected to go, no-go traffic signals for 3 different directions at a hexagonal intersection. Control of the light should be sequenced as indicated in the verification tab. Turning off all lights when an emergency vehicle is detected, and restarting the sequence when it leaves transponder range. The durations of the phases are set by the operator using dials that can be read as X-bus inputs. Yes, okay, verification. We got all lights off during an emergency. And then if your light was still on, okay, sorry. Phases. Well, light 2 is not on for very long, is it? It's on for 2 at the very end. So I feel like a phase should count down from 5 down. Is that how it goes? So we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're on 1, 2. So we pull all 3 phases in, and we run them out. And then we need to know if it's an emergency, because we need to turn the lights off. So I'm feeling like we can get by quite a bit with this much, maybe. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, but then knowing when to pull in what phase. Phases could get read. So that gives us single output to all 3 of these things. Move forward. That's fine. Let's do that. Okay. And then we need an emergency signal. So we've got emergency can come in. All right, so if it's an emergency, nothing. Basically, just write 0. So I guess we'll test test P0. If it's 100, we're going to jump, or I guess we'll move 0 to X3, jump sleep, and we'll have sleep down there. It'll sleep for 1. All right, that's our boundary. Now we need to know the next phase, basically, and a light. So I think if we have a kind of a light manager, will just run us through, then this can just write out. And we may be able to reduce it depending on how complicated it gets. So I guess you will be doing most of this work here. So let's just wire that up. So we need to know what phase we're on. So phase 1, so we move X0 into the accumulator. And that is going to be light 0, right? Yeah, light 0. So that's 100. And then P1 is phase 1. Can I write all 3 of these loops? I don't know. We'll see. P1 says we sleep. No, we move 100 over, what are we doing? X2. Okay, over X2. Yeah. And then we will sub 1 and test equal, the accumulator of the accumulator is 0. Or I guess if accumulator is greater than 0, we'll jump back to P1. Otherwise, we'll do P2. So we'll move X1 into the accumulator. We'll move 10 to X2. Sub 1 greater than 0. We'll jump P2. Otherwise, we'll move X3 into the accumulator. Oh, nobody's sleeping. Sleep 1. And then this one needs to sleep 1. Here, sleep 1. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yeah. I think if I wire it up backwards, then, like, because if 0 goes to light 1, then I can do a little trick. I need to get these out of here, so, like, I need you to go over here. Bridge. P1 always goes there. And then you go to light 2. I cannot bridge that way anymore, but I could bridge there. Okay. Little weird, but bear with me here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move X0 into, right? Move X0 into the accumulator. And then we're going to loop. How do I know what phase to jump into? P1, P2, P3. Move X1 into the accumulator. Move X3 into the accumulator. We'll need to jump to loop. We'll need to jump to loop. And then we'll have our loop start here. So that's gonna move dat. Move 1 into that. I don't think I'm gonna have enough. We'll see. We'll see where we're at. Okay, so we'll move that to x2. We'll sub 1. But then how do I know what the next phase is? I don't know what the next phase is. So I think this is where that gen is going to come in handy. There's the gen command that's not documented anywhere. It is in one of the emails, I believe. What is this? Nope. Undocumented instruction. Gen PXY. So Gen P conveniently generates a pulse on any simple I/O pin. The signal switches on 100, then off 0 for however many units you want, using the last two operands. It is equivalent to move 100 to P, sleep X, move 0 to P, sleep Y. So I'm wondering, Gen P RR. Okay. Let's see. I think what I'm thinking is we've got this, right? And we've got this. So we wire it up. And we can say like Gen 5 X3. Oh. We got to go into the P ones. Gen 5, like X0, which would be, or no, X3. And then we're going to do 5 and 0, maybe, I guess. Right? What is that going to do? It's must be simple IO pin. Okay, so it has to be a P0. All right. Okay. See, there we go. Okay, what's the issue here? Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, now we can step. So that pushes 100. That pushes 100 in. But nothing is reading it on the other side. So I guess if we read it, like if we move X1 into accumulator, sleep 1, that's it. Okay, yeah, let's get rid of this. Yep, we are moving. We are moving. Okay, so, but I don't want to do 3 of them. Like, they're all going to have to read from all the phases, which feels like a lot, but if we're going to run gen into this, it seems to make the most sense. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know how to swap. Like, that needs to gen 5, and then we need to add up the other 2. So that would be like accumulator. because we'd go off there. Okay, so let's clean up what we're at. Is there like a clear, like a wipe button? And an easy way to wipe is we delete that and we start over. Okay, so we have a plan with Jen. We've got 3 of these. Do we need all 3 of them? Probably not. But it is what it is. So this goes into X1, X0, and X0 there. Now we need to get this signal to everyone else. That sucks. So I guess we'll move you more to the center. Here. Okay. Whoa. Let's grab the components. All right, so they all go into X0. Yeah, one line of code feels really wasteful. I mean, $3 for one line of code. Yeah, I mean, let's get it working first, and then we'll see where we can maybe improve it. Okay, so we need to know how long we're pausing. So we need this to kind of come around, but we can't bring it because we need this to go through here. So then I guess we need to stagger these. Maybe. Like you need to be down here. There needs to be a gap. There needs to be a gap. Wait, these don't need pins. We can use the X version. Costs the same amount, has only exports, super helpful. Got too many. Okay. So that frees us up because that can go in there. And then I guess, I don't know. You can go that way and then maybe there. And then you can you bridge over that thing? You can't bridge over a component like that. Okay, but you can bridge over like that, right? Then I can't go through. I know. All right, thank you. This one needs to connect in to its X3 here. The part connects to itself. So phase 1 goes there. Phase 1 goes there. And phase 2 goes there, okay? And that connects phase 1 there. Phase 0 is connected there. So we need phase 2 connected there, but we can't connect them because this is connected to it. How is it connected to itself? Right here, because of that. That is the issue. So we need, if we bring this up here, what we need is we need that so we can come down and connect it in here. Now that's got phase 2, and that is phase 1. And phase 2. I don't want phase 2. I don't want phase 2. I want phase 0. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. Okay, that's too complicated. And then I'm running out of space to put my other parts. Like, I can't put that there. Yep, I couldn't put that there. And if we just ran, like if we ran it all the way through, then it connects to itself, so we can't do that. What to do? We don't have any numbers. What other components do we have? We have an AND, but that's not going to help us read. What is this PGA 3336? We got parts, data sheets. We can look at the contents. PGA 33X6. It's all in Chinese in the data sheet. So that's cool.
Which do you prefer?
If we look at the components here, we've got LOGO4. So I wasn't watching chat. I just realized. All right, so let me pull my little data sheet thing out so I can have chat open too. Okay, so we're looking at what was it? the LG series. So 04 is a one input inverter. So if I plop this one out here. So it's an inverter. So these invert the signal and they feed it in through here. I don't know how that works. So let's clear the board again. All right. Here we go. Okay, let's pop this out here. I just want to see if I push like a value, that's a pin type mismatch. Okay. So it needs a P pin then. So if I move 100 over P1, actually let's just gen P1 like 5 on, 1 off, I guess, 2 off. All right, so we push 100 in. That lights up this row. Okay, so like that one. That links up that, okay. Let's do 2 on, 2 off. And then that switches there. So that would be, what does that read on output? If we wired this up here, what does that read on output? All right, so that goes 100 there. $100 on light 0. Right, so that, and then that was, is that an AND? That looks like an AND to me. 08 is a 2-unit input-output AND gate. Yeah, that looks like an AND. So I guess it's ANDing these together. So like if we did like this one and that one, then it will AND them. And since the second one is never powered, that's a problem. I only have 3 inputs though, so that's perfect for the lights, basically. Perfect for the lights. I could wire it up to one of these 3-to-1s, and so then that would like turn those on. Oh, so if we remove that, so we can encode some complicated logic here. This is on. What does this do? I think that's maybe coming input back here. I don't really understand what that one's doing. That one seems to have turned this row on. So if we turn this row on, okay, now it's off. So if this row here, interesting. Oh wait, why is that one lit up? Oh, is it because this isn't writing anywhere? Yeah. It's like if I move these over, like that, and then if I put this here, can I then wire these up like that? What does that do? Does that re-expand? So that's lit up, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. I think if I had put that, I'm not really understanding how these are wired together. So basically we could code it so it's like if this one's on, you know, we could feed them all in here. But anyways, yeah, okay. So here's another idea. Phases is like the sum of all of these, right? It's unclear. Like it's not going to show me. I think these values will change in between tests. Maybe they won't. I don't know if they'll differ. But if we did like 5 + 4 + 2, that doesn't help, does it? So we could sum them, but then we still need to know when to switch phases. We need to read this, and we need to pause for that. And then we need to read this, and we need to pause for that. Did I vastly overcomplicate it before? Yeah, well, that would send just 100 out, so that's not helpful. I can only get 2p inputs on a single 3. So like if I wired that one in there and I wired that one in there, then these 2 P's could come out like that. And so I could do gen x0, oh no, p1 x0 0, gen p1 p0 x1 0. And then I would need to sleep for this phase, but I don't have access to that. So that could run it. I mean, that's doing a thing. That's definitely doing a thing. And then if I pull an X out here, what do we got? We got move X0 into accumulator, sleep 1. So we can watch that number. We got 1, and then we got 100. Then we got 1, and we got 100. So yeah, I mean, I could wire all 3 of them up to this. All 3 phases up to this. I still only have 2 P outputs though. Which, like, the problem with that is that that's only 100 on 2 different ports, so I can't identify the 3 different lights unless I build the number in here. How do I build the number in here accurately? I'd have to like move the value and then jump to a point, like an unknown point. I don't think I have any kind of jumps. Like there's no conditional jumping. Like jump to a register. That's what I mean. Yeah, jump to a register. So, yeah, jump L, move to the instruction following the specified label. So I have to have a label. I can't jump to a dynamic label. I don't have like that like conditional or the unconditional jump from TIS, where it's like jump back 2 lines, would be really helpful at this point. But I don't have that. How are we doing on stats? Oh, stream's doing great. That's good news. Awesome. Yeah, let's see. Okay, let's get back. Where's my reference is over there. So we've got a way to generate values, but we can only do it for 2. And now I do have to account for sleeping for this phase, so I can't. This is not complete. I do need all 3 units. I'd have to have 2 of these minimum. And phase 2 would have to be wired to both of them. So if we try that, I mean, it's very, very wasteful. Very wasteful, but, you know, we'll see where we're at. Okay. Right, so these will get wired up here. And then you will be wired up there. And let's just wire you up there, right? Let's put a bridge on you because we need the P to go through that way. Now I just realized that we have to get 2 P's out that way. So that's not going to work because we need to get the emergency through as well. Emergency has to come through this way. So how do we fix this? If we move potentially move you over here, I suppose. Then that can come there. Do we need? I don't even think we need that really. We can actually bring that down. This P0 then can now. You need to go into X there, I suppose, and then that. Okay, I need one more step to escape it here. Nope. I need to go through. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then this can come through there. And then we've got this over here. So we got P. We've got P. I don't know why I'm doing this so far over there. Well, I do know why, because I've got this coming in. Okay, so phase 0 goes into P0, phase 1 goes into P1, and phase 2 goes into P2. And then I need one of these here, because it has to read, it has to write out, and then I need data from there, so this layout's not going to work. Plus, it's super wasteful, right? It's super wasteful. Let's go back and look. Let's see if we can glean any neat little tricks from this super cheap one. That's specifically with RAM, so I don't think that's going to help us. But we need to run this long, then we need to run this long, then we need to run this long. So I'm thinking we could just do... we could do the numbers. The numbers are easy, but the math is not, because we need a loop counter. And we need the number to multiply. I guess we can build a little function caller like we had before. That just like multiplies it for us. So we didn't really use that build. Oh, we did. I think we did use it on the like really bad solution. Yeah, we've got this one that just does math. It's like a function. So if we build another unit like that, then we can easily multiply the number in DAT. And we can move it around. So we pull an X over here so we can have them communicate. Just like that. Then we can easily, we'll move 1 into, how are we going to wire this up? So 100, yeah, we need to inverse it. That's right. We need to inverse it. So... No, we don't. No, we don't. We can do whatever we need to. Okay, so we're going to wire this up like that. That'll get us... that'll get our numbers output. Okay, so we're going to start with light 0, which we're going to move 100 into accumulator. So that's the start of our run. Then we need to move X0 into, oh, no, that needs to go into DAT, right? Move X0 into, it's like I need to pull the next number from somewhere. So like I need one of these to pull the number from. Like give me the next number. So let's put another unit out here. Can I put you? There we go. Okay, so we're gonna put this one here. Okay, so let's tighten this up. We need to tighten this up. Let's get this tightened up here. And that's our math unit. Okay, so let's just work on this. This is gonna sleep on X2. And then it's gonna move X2. I can't trash X2, can I? Just add X2. That's fine. Add X2. Yeah, pen's not connected. Let's connect the pen. Okay. So we'll read from it, and then we'll jump test equal ACC 0. If it is, we'll move, that's 2, 3, 1, so we'll move X0 to X2, and then we will add 1 and jump start, right? So this is our start. And then we'll test equal accumulator 1. We'll move x1, x2, and we've already run out of commands. So we need to do that here. I don't really want to have two big ones, but I guess we will. So then you get hooked up here. And okay, so move x1, x2. It's like they all need to add. So I can get rid of that. Then we just jump next. And then next, we'll add 1. And that's it. It'll be at the end, right? So we move x1, jump next, and then finally we move x3 to x2. And then this one we have to move 0 into accumulator. And we'll jump start. Nope, let's save a line of code. Move -1 into the accumulator. And that'll get us back to the start. Okay. So that'll tell us the phase. That'll be the phase read. So we just write a 0 to read the phase. Now we can read phases really simply. Yeah, so we simply we move 0. So this is our start. We move x, move 0 into dat, right? No, we've got 100, so we need to move 100 into dat. Move 100 into dat. Then we move that's the initial. Okay, then we start. We move 0 to x0. We move x0 to the accumulator. That's our loop, right? That's our loop. So while the accumulator, we're going to move dat to P1. X3. X3. We need one more little helper here. That's a P. I only have X output. Boo, 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 boo. How do I get the X in there? Ah, right. I can go like all the way back there with it. Right, so we can bring that in. And then this X1 can write out. Okay, so X2. We'll write it out to X2. Then we'll sub 1. While it's greater than 0, while accumulator is greater than 0, we're going to jump loop. When we're done with the loop, we need to change dat. So we need to move dat to x1, move x1 to dat. That's going to give us the new value. This needs to, we need to sleep 1 here. So we need to move x1 to that, so that'll go 110, 1, 110, 1. And then that needs to go back to start. So that's it there. All right, and then this one, we basically just need to sleep on x3, move x3 into the accumulator. If we're just moving the 1 around. So if we start at 0, so if we DST, no, we can't pull the digit out. Yeah, we can't pull the digit out. We'll just do the dumb way. So we'll test equal accumulator 100. We're gonna move 10 x3. We'll test equal test equal 10. That would be our accumulator. If our accumulator is equal to 10, we're going to move 1 on x3. No, that was x3. Yeah, okay. Yeah, accumulator. Test equal accumulator is equal to 10. Let's try and keep things consistent. That needs to jump start. That moves. And then if it's not there, we just move. Oh, yeah, we don't need that jump because we just do move 100 to x3 at that point. And then that goes back to sleep, so we don't even need that start label. We do need that start label because we have that. Yeah. Actually, we don't need the start label because it won't be equal. Whoops, we do need the sleep line. Okay, that's all of those parts. Now we've got this piece to write. This needs to basically read from x2 and then read from p0. So we're going to move x0 into accumulator. We're going to test equal p0 100. If it is, we're going to move 0 to x1. And we're going to jump sleep. Don't know why I did a minus there. We need our sleep, which is just sleep 1. Okay. If it's not 100, we need to move the accumulator over x1. That should do it. We got a lot of work going here. It looks like we're doing good there. And then we're at the switchover. So that moves dat over. That gets a 10 back. We move a 0. We get phase 4. We write 10 out. And we write that up there. And what happened? What is this? What is going on here? Okay, so we do need a jump start. Yeah. It's weird because like this failed. Oh, and then this failed, and so it wanted to do that. Okay, yeah, so we need to escape. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to where we were. So we read the 100 over there. We get the 10. That moves. We write that. We're good. We're looking good. So that should be the in there. And we've got 1 now. So we write 1 out. And then we've got... We come back. And we got 1 phase 100, but now we've got emergency lights. So everything is 0. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Not perfect. What happened there? What happened there? Let's get back. Let's go there. Okay. So we're going to simulate up to that point. We're going to simulate up to the breakpoint. Okay. All right. We've got 3 more ticks. When the emergency comes in, it resets. It resets to 0. Yeah, okay. I mean, okay, we can put that up here. Like, we can wire that into this. This is our phase determiner, right? So we sleep on X2. And then here we test equal P0. Is it equal to 100? Then we move 0 into the accumulator. Yep. We reset the accumulator. Okay, so now we simulate up to that point. Our accumulator is 1. Wait. That's 100, right? So okay, because we're not, if we don't read from it, if we're in the gap and we don't read from it, and that's like the end of it, right? So I guess that needs to jump to like wait. Do we have any room to write a wait? We have 1 line of code, which we can't do, and we're sleeping on X2. Because we may not be able to read from X2, and we can't conditionally check if we should read from X2. So we need some way to know to reset that. We are not using dat, so I guess we can move X2 to dat. And then we can test there. We can basically say move test X2. If it's equal to 1, then we move 0 into accumulator. And then we go on about our business. But how would we know when to do that? That would have to be in the loop. We'd have to add a jump out of the loop. We got to test P0 to jump out of the loop at that point. Where do we add that code? Where do we add that code? I guess we can move this logic so we can get rid of this line. And we can move this logic up here. See, that's our start. And so it won't be equal to 100, it won't be equal to 10, so we'll get 100 back, which is what we want to start at any. So basically our loop, we've got to jump out of our loop. And then we've got to do that. That's 2 lines of code. So that's our start, and that's our update. Yeah, this kind of stinks. Because then if I have a wait over here, it needs to know to signal a reset back here. So like we move one x0, we move x0 to the accumulator. And then I guess we just jump update to make it, because then we've got to fit in here. Like, all right, so before we sleep, we need to test equal P1, P0, 100, jump W. So that actually needs to happen after the sleep. That needs to happen after the sleep because we have to sleep. We have to sleep. So jump W. That'll jump to update. Do we need to jump to update? That's going to give us a 0. I mean, that's going to give us the next value, which is not going to be the correct light. The correct light needs to be back to 100. Once again, yeah. So, we need to get that P. We can move this over here, right? Because we can bring, no, we can't bring that up. We can bring it up here, like that. So we can connect those in. That gives us no space in there. I could move this up here. Then we can move this up there. That does not work. Okay, that bought us 0 space. That bought us no space at all. Why didn't you buy a space? So I'm thinking, like, if I move, I could move this over here. This could come over here, and if we changed it, no, it needs to read the pin. That's the thing. It needs to read the pin. It needs to know P0, and then we can tie it to P0 here. Okay, wait. Yeah. We can move this back. That's fine. Because we don't need X1. We need to cut this. This is going to be a little simpler. Is it going to be simpler? I don't think it's going to be simpler. How do we invert a number? I don't know how we invert a number. We can't just move a digit. We do have an instruction to set a digit. Set the digit of accumulator specified by the first operand. Okay, so maybe I just need this. I need a big guy in here. I know this is going to blow away our target cost. So P1's got to go there, and then we've got to get, because we've got to know when we're reset, and we've got to know when we're being asked for the next light. So then we really just need to P1, and then we're going to move P1 to P0, and we're going to move P0 to dat. And then that will go to, well, that can actually wire up in the front now. Cool. But we do need to jump to update. We don't need to move one. Oh, we do need to move one because that's got to reset it. And then that jumps to update. That doesn't help us. Gosh darn it. Because then I need to know when this pin is hit. Okay. If that comes through like that, all the way through, then I can wire this up, thread the needle all the way over there to P1. So you're testing P1. If P1 is 100, we're going to break out so we can reset this one. And then we're going to go over here. And then this one's going to read P0 too. So we're going to test equal P0. If P0 is equal to 100, we're going to move 100 into dat. We're basically going to reset the light. And then we're going to test equal P1. If P1 is equal to 1, then we're going to move I should be able to pull it, pretty sure. Move this is already going to sleep, so like I don't even need to do that. I just need to move P0, move the dat to P1, move dat to P1. Oh, yeah, we were waiting on that to trigger. Goodness gracious. Man, this is problematic. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I don't know where to go from here. What do we have? Okay, so this is reading that we have a reset baked in, but we're not getting a clear, like we don't have a clear signal for reset. Reset has to come through here. This is doing a lot of work. This is basically doing our countdown on sending the signal out. This is handling zeroing out the light for the countdown. So this can handle a change there. So what we can do, yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah, okay, I got it. All right, so if P1 is 100, then that's when we do our change. That's when we swap. So we basically, we need to get the digit, isolate the specified digit of the value in the accumulator register, and store it in the accumulator register. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's a lot of code. Yeah, because basically it was going to do, we want the 1 to move from 100 to 10 to 1. So if we have to move dat to the accumulator, Then we have to digit get 0 or 1, 2, 3. We're going to get 3. And we're going to DST. We're going to set the digit of the specified. Set the digit of accumulator specified by the first operand of the value. Okay, so I can't move it in place, basically. That stinks. If I move from 100, if I move to 10, then I would move that 1 down. So that would be 0. So if I move the hundreds to the 10 and move the ones to the hundreds, I never move to the 1. It would be great if I could divide, because I could just divide by 10. That's what, if I swap these around, then I can multiply. It's a little more complicated getting, so this one has to go up here to light 0. And then P1 goes there. And then how do I get that back around? I don't know how I get that one around. I can pull X1 up here, like there. That needs to go down. So I can't do that. Okay, I could move this up, so I have a little bit more room to maybe work with. That makes it harder. Now I've got to get 2 values down. Okay, what if I move it down? Move it down. Okay, yeah, so now we're there. Now P0 has to get all the way to the top. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Yeah, P1 has to go to light 1. So like there. Then that one can't. Yeah, that's not going to work at that. Like, we could do that, but then that connects to itself. So we could do that. I could actually go up that way. It doesn't really make a difference. Honestly, so P0 needs to go all the way up. P2 needs to come. If I go this way, that doesn't change anything. What if I bring this one up? Can I bring it up? I cannot bring it up because of that. I can't bring that in. I wish I could just reorder them. That would be easy. That would be easy. What if I brought P2, P0? I need to get P0 out. Okay, so I think the easiest thing to do here is to get... Okay, wait. I think I got it. P2 needs to come down here. Nope, I don't got it because now I can't. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Hello. Okay. Yeah, I could put a bridge here, so I could get P0 out this way, right? But then I'm isolated here. I don't have a P2 way to get down there. Okay, let's try a different way to wire this up. But let me basically, what I'm going to do is, like, if we start at 1, we can just multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10. So if it's not equal to 100, multiply by 10. If it is equal to 100, then we just sub 100 or set 0. Like, it doesn't matter. But it becomes a lot easier to change. We don't have to do this like, are you 100, then go to 10. We don't have floating point values, so we can't just like multiply by 1/10. So, and moving the digit is problematic. Set the digit of accumulator specified by the first operand. So like we could I guess we could kind of keep it running. See, dat, we can't increment dat without swapping it out. So if we had dat be the digit we want to set digit 3, then we want to set digit 2, then we want to set digit 1. We'd have to swap dat into accumulator and subtract it and then swap them back. We don't have a swap. So there's like no way to losslessly move those two values between these two registers, which is annoying. But yeah, so one of the things that I was thinking is like, this is basically going to output the light. And so we could have it just wait on a signal from here to change lights. So this signal could say, okay, we're going to change lights. So it could tell this to change the light. We could implement the light change algorithm and then send that on. So I guess maybe let's just maybe do this, right? So if that's equal, then if we need a new light, test accumulator 100. Yeah, we also need to move 0 to x3. We're gonna probably get rid of this one. So what is it? Move 100 on P. Oh no, we don't need to move every time. We only need to move when we're done. Yeah, we're done here. We need to move 100 on P0. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's gonna work though. I don't think that's gonna be read. The signal's gonna be too short. So, you know, great. What if I use memory? So we've got memory. What do I need to write to it? This needs to read from it. So I need something that's writing the current phase. So this can determine what phase to read and send here when it's requested. But yeah, so when it's requested, it'll read the memory. And then we have another thing that's potentially reading from this, and it's updating phase to 0 and light to 0. And then this can signal that. No, it can't signal to that. We need to know when the phase increments, basically. That needs to tell us when the phase increments, that's when light changes.
Here's
The
what
light,
I found.
yeah, but the light also changes when emergency is happening. And
Here's what I found.
okay, I don't need your help. Wish I could turn that off. Siri, sometimes very annoying. Okie dokie. What do we got? All right, so we're talking about potentially using some RAM. That's ROM. That's RAM. You can't edit RAM. You can edit ROM, so that's because it's ROM, so you can't edit it. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's kind of a hack. What do we got? We got 100, 10, 1, 100, 10, 1. I don't think it's evenly divisible. It's not. But we could easily derive it, like what phase we're on, 110, 1, right? So this could read from here to get the light. And then this could also write the address that it would be reading from. So like this doesn't need to write the address. I guess it does need to write the address. No, this one's going to be reading from P0 every time, so it can write the address. So it can read the next light. The next light code to send, and then it can send that one out every time. And then this can update the address for it. So every time it needs to read an address, and then we'll be checking it. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so this doesn't really have to change. We don't need a 1. We're just going to add x2 just like we did before. Oh, no. That resets the phase because we need to get the right phase. So we do still need to reset the phase when it's 100. Son of a snap. Which is fine. If we link these two up like this, then we can write x3 to x2. We can write the -1. Boom. So if it's 1, we move 0 into the accumulator. And then we do all of that. This one, we're going to erase that one for now. Okay, cool. Because what I want this to do is basically jump back to start. Yeah. So if we write 1, we're not going to output anything. That'll control that. So we don't need you anymore, but we do need to send. This needs to go into address. And then you're going to go there. We don't need you, and we need to put you into data because you're going to read from data. So Yeah, okay. All right. So we move 0 onto x0, and then we move x0 to the accumulator. That's our counter. Then we don't need that because we're going to move x2 to accumulator. And then we're going to sleep. We're going to move, before we sleep, we're going to move x2 to x3. Then we're going to sleep. We're going to subtract 1. And we're going to, yeah. And then that doesn't need to write anything there. These don't need to be connected anymore. Okay. Now, we're going to test equal P0. If it's equal to 100, we're going to move 0, 1, 2, 3. We're going to move 3 to x2. We're just going to point at 0. And that'll be that. And then we'll jump to sleep. And we'll have our sleep command that sleeps for 1. All right, so if we're not in an emergency, then we need to check the address. So test equal x2 0 1 2. If it's equal to 3, then we need to move 0 to x2. Okay. We are stuck. Test equal dat. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Also, before we jump, we need to move 1 over x3. Okay. Then we sleep 1. Oh, we need to wire our things back, our light outputs back up. All right, so we get that in. Boom. All right, we're doing phase 1. We are wrong. How are we wrong? Oh, that needs to go into that. Okay. And then we're moving that to x3. Yeah. Okay. Boom. All right, there's our phase 1. All right, now's our phase shift. We read 10 and we phase shifted. All right, perfect. Now we go there. We're phase shifting again. Boom, perfect. All right, we test equal. We're resetting the light and we go to sleep. Boom. And then we start the phase over. Boom. Okay. We have written 4 there. And it is writing out 100. Why is it writing out 100? Why are you writing out 100? It's almost like it needs to update the address too. Because it's going to be reading every... Okay, so like it needs to be more in control of the address than this thing is. This does need to reset it when it's at I guess I should put it at 5. Oh no, because it's down here. Yeah. So what we'll do is instead of moving it to dat, we'll link up. I can't link up x1. We can move this forward and we can move this forward. Then we can do that. Can do that. We can do that. Okay. Then we can pull this x down here. Because what we're going to have to do is we're going to move x2 to x3. And then we're going to... See? Shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Because we need to read the light every round. Otherwise, we get stuck in I mean, I guess we could just test the address and jump out of there. Yeah, we could test the address, so we could move x2 to dat, and we'll go back to dat, but we test equal x1. If it's equal to 3, okay, maybe we shouldn't test at that point. If it's equal to 3, then we need to break out of the loop. X1 is 3. Then we need to jump back to start, I guess. We're all over the place. Why are we all over the place? Oh. Because we didn't guard that jump. That's why. Okay. That gets us through there. We swap. We swap. We jumped way too early. Why did we jump too early? We go through there. Wait, I'm confused. Okay. Where are we messing up? We're messing up like right there. Hello. Oh, control click. All right, get us there. Okay. So we sub 1. We move that. We get our new value. We've read 1. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should be like 4. We should move it to 4. Should move it to 4. And then when it's not... and here, if it's greater than 2, 0, 1, 2, yeah. X2 greater than 2, okay. Yeah. Then that can test for 4, because 4 is really going to be the problem one. But we hit a problem here. Yeah, that test needs to happen first. That test needs to happen first. We're going to jump to sleep. Because we got to sleep. We got to sleep. All right. It's just getting more complicated. Why is it taking one step longer to transition now? Why if we slept? Test greater than. If that's not, then we jump. Then we jump to start. Yeah, we're sleeping one extra step. Okay, we didn't swap back. We didn't swap out to 0. We didn't swap out to 0. That's what it... So right here, right there. Okay, we've got that. That came on. We move 4 to x2. That jumps. Aha. That needs to move 0 to x3. Part not sleeping. All right, why aren't you sleeping? So we send a 1, move 0 to the accumulator, jump back to start. Oh. Yep. This needs to pull. This needs to jump off. And then it needs to move 1 x3 and jump to off. Off needs to... What? Dadgummit. Jump off. Okay, now when we're off, we sleep for 1, and we test equal. We move 4 to x2, which we didn't do up there. So before we sleep, I guess, we're going to move 4 to x2. Then we're going to sleep for 1. And then we basically test P0 to 100. And if it's not 100, we jump up to... Or I guess if it is 100, we'll jump to off. Back to off. What the... Oop. What the heck just happened there? Okay. Okay. I see. Yep. Sleep needs to jump to start. Unconditional jump to start after we sleep. Okay. We move 1 to x3. Oh, but now see, that's counting down. That's wrong. Oh, and shit. And we stayed active too long. It's like we need to know when we're reading, when we're requesting from this? We need to know. I'm wondering if it's worth plugging in yet another thing. Like, I don't really want to bring in more, but what other choice do I have? This needs a X connection to here, and it needs an X connection there. We can wire this down so we can get rid of that. This X connection needs to come here. Actually, shoot. That's a pin. If I knock this back one, I can bring that pin over here. Can change that to P1. All right, what do we got here? I can drop you down there. That can come to X2. Okay, so what is this coordinating now? What is this one coordinating now? So when this hits here, this needs to tell this, but this can't receive any more signals. So I guess we want to link it up here. Move 1 to X2. Yeah, I know. This is troublesome. That does have a P pin on it. If I wrote to that, I could signal. Well, no, that doesn't have a traditional sleep. Actually, I think the answer is like staring me in the face, right? Because we've got... What are we doing here? We've got the phase. This knows when the phase ends. So it can tell us, it can signal to update the phase. Ah, that's right. That's right. We've got how many extra lines? 1, 2, 3. We could write an initializer in there. We could write an initializer in there. Oh, we don't actually care about the phase numbers, right? We just need... So that's phase 0, phase 1, phase 2. And so we can write the phase into that address port right there. Then this needs to read from those three. And this address port. I mean, and this data port. That's easy. Just plug in right there. Right? I need to send a signal to get a specific phase. This needs to send a signal to get the phase. So if we're gonna remove that one, that was a lot of code to delete. This is basically we're just gonna sit here, chilling on our. Yeah, that needs to go somewhere else now. Yeah, we need 2 of these. So that needs to... Oop. I need another X, please. Come down there, I guess. And then come in there. And then if I move this over here, I can bring that pin in there. I don't need that necessarily. This just needs to read. No, it needs to update the address too, doesn't it? Why does that need to read the address? Why does that need to read the address? Why does that need to read the address? Trying to think. Does that need to read the address? I don't think it does. I could read the address and then... No, because I need the accumulator for that. I do just need to read the address once. But I need to know when to get out. Like I need to break out of that loop. Okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. So this just needs to read the phase. It doesn't care about the address. So we're gonna sleep on X2. When we get a request from X2, we're just gonna add X2. Doesn't matter. We're gonna read the current phase. So we're gonna move D0 connects to X1. We're going to move X1 into the accumulator. We don't need to read it into the accumulator. We're going to read it directly into X0 because that's going to go up here. And that's going to tell this to give me a number. Then we're going to move X0 on to X2. And we are done. That is done. Yeah. We're going to consider that done. Now, I do need to get, maybe I need to get an X3 in there. I need to get an X3 over, yep, I need to get an X3 over there to talk to address 0. Because I don't have any way to talk to address 0. All right, let's write this real quick. So we're going to sleep on X2. We're going to move X2 to accumulator. We're going to test equal X2. If it's equal to 0, then we're going to move X0 to X2. And then we jump start. Then we're going to test equal X2 accumulator. Accumulator. Test equal accumulator to 1. If it's equal to 1, we're going to move X1 to X2. Otherwise, we're going to move x3 to x2. Yeah. So that gives us the phases. That gives us the phase numbers when they're requested. This figures out what phase we need there and sends it forward. I don't have any. I do have an available export. Kind of have an available export. If it doesn't need to read this address. But it does need to read this address. Do I need this? Because I can read it here and send it, right? And then this can just manage resetting those pointers. But this still needs to know when to break out of the loop. So let's see. It needs to read data. It needs to write. And if it needed to read data and it needed that, it couldn't write there. Okay. So this gives me some more ports over here, basically. If I move that, if we come in here, then I can bridge that. Boom. See, that's what I needed right there. Okay, so this needs to sleep on X1 now. And then we move X0. No, we move X2 to X0. Yeah, X0 didn't change. And then we move X0 to X1. Okay, that changed. Oh man, this is complex. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're gonna get rid of that. We're just gonna jump straight to off. We're gonna move 4. We're gonna move 4 into X2. That's our 0. We're gonna move 0 to X3. That's gonna reset our phase. Then we're gonna sleep for 1. We're gonna test it again. And then if it's still on, we're going to jump back to off. Otherwise, we'll go up here where we'll immediately test it again. We've already tested it. So we could jump straight into move 0 on X2. X2 equals 2. Okay, and then we need to test greater than X3 0 1 2. If it's greater than 2, we need to move 0 to X3. So this will be our update. And then the shorthand, basically, if we're not off, we're just going to jump straight to update because we've already tested it. Then that'll go there. And it can update. I could put off up here and have it jump to update. And then that could move sleep. If I did that, let's see. Would that change the size of code? If I take this up and I put update there, then in the negative case, we want to jump to update. Then offset doesn't need to jump to update, it just needs to jump to off. And that doesn't need to jump to start. Yeah, we saved some lines of code just by restructuring that. Cool. So that's going to update those pointers. Let's see if this convoluted mess works. Okay, yeah, we actually did need to do that because we need to move. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need to move 7 into X3. Which means That was 7, 8, 9, right? So actually, if x3 is greater than 9, we need to move 7 into it. Yeah, okay. So we got our phase counting. We got our lights on. We're looking good. We got a phase change. Okay, we got a phase change. We pull that. We read a 4. Boom. Okay, we're looking good. Okay. We've got the next phase change. That reads the phase. That goes in there. All right. We did it. We changed phases. Now we're going to change back. Okay, well, it looks like we're back. We read the new light. Read our new phase value. We got the lights going. All right, now for the tricky part. Okay, well, I saw a bug. We move 7 in there. Okay. We want to advance to there, right? That's when it comes on. All right. There we are. Okay. So we come in. We jump to offset. We move 4 down there. We move 7 in there. That basically resets those. We write 0 out. We go up there. We read that. We've moved that in. Okay. So we don't want to test if it's equal to 4. We want to test if it's greater than 3. Should never be greater than 3 in a normal workflow. So that way when it reads it at 0, it'll still catch it. And then we'll rewrite 4 to it. Yeah. And then we do that. We get to this point. We did not. Did we get? Okay, we got 5. We got 100. We did it. Did we did it? I think we did it. All right. Please don't mess up. Wow, that was challenging, and we are above everything. Good gracious. That was like almost the whole time spent there. Yeah, 2 hours nearly. These are getting really hard. I swear. And there's more, and there's more. Oh my gosh. Meat-based grinder. What do we have here? We've got keypad is an X-bus input connected to a keypad. Extrude is a simple output connected to a meat extruder. Valve 0 through valve 2 are simple outputs connected to valves in the meat extruder that control whether lean mix or fat mix is extruded. When a value is available from the keypad, read it and assemble the corresponding meat specification, which are found on a page in the supplemental data section of the manual. So that would be, do we have a meat specification? The elegant making list of the assembled meat primer, sample specifications. Okay. Oh, I see. Lean is low, fat is high. So, wow. Jeez. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So now you have your meat assembler up and running. It's time to put the device through its paces. You'll find, as many have, that assembled meat isn't just a convenient, cost-effective solution for a commercial dining facility. It can also be a versatile culinary tool in the hands of an experienced operator. Use the meat patterns below to get started with some familiar servings. Don't be afraid to experiment. Wow. So yeah, we've got to extrude. Actually, that's not too bad. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7 units. That could be 3 ROMs. Because we got cutlets, steak, and bacon. So 1, 2, or 3. We've got 3 ROMs that we're going to read from 7 times. I mean, it's not that crazy. We've got 3 ROMs. We have to know which ROM we want to read from. If we had 3 ROMs. Because we have to. They each have 7 and there's 3. That's 21. This one ROM, well, I guess one ROM could hold 2. That's RAM. One ROM could hold 2. So we've got our valve 0, 1, 2. How would we wire that up? That would be 0 is 100. So 0 is, so they're all low for bacon. Low. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that's 1. So then they're all high. Then we've got 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so 0. So like there's 1. There's 2. Yeah, I only need 2 exports, and then I would need 2 exports for the other one, but then we would need ports for communication. So then I guess I'd have 2 readers. The reading isn't that hard. It's just reading 7 units. So steak is 111. And then 101, 101, 111, 101, 101, 111. Okay, and then we pop out another ROM, and we've got valve is high. That's our 100, right? So it's just 100 all the way down. So that one probably doesn't need a RAM, honestly, because that one's pretty simple. So one big reader here with like its X's tied up, and then are we reading, what are we reading? So we get the value in what we're reading, and then we use that to set the value. So we like sleep on X3, move X3 into accumulator, right? And then 0, 1, 2. So test equal accumulator is equal to 0, right? If it's equal to 0, then we move 0 on X1. Test equal accumulator equal to 1. Then we move 1, 7 onto X1. And then we move accumulator to DAT, move 7 to the accumulator, and we just do our loop. So we test equal DAT, test less than 3, right? 0, 1, oh, less than 2, dat. Okay, if it's less than 2, we move x0 to x3. Otherwise, we move 100 to x3, right? And then we sub 1, test greater than 0, jump L. Test accumulator greater than 0, jump L. Okay, we have a problem. We have a problem. So I could move the value in there. But that would be, yeah, so 0, 7, and then probably 14. So if we just move that into accumulator, then we could simply move the accumulator. Actually, we don't need that into the accumulator. And then we move dat into the address. So 14 would just put us at 0, which doesn't really matter. We don't care where the address is at. Then we don't need to worry about this stuff. Move ACC dat. We don't need that. Then we do that. Okay, now we've got our loop. We test, is it less than 14? If it's less than 14, if it's equal to 14, so 0, 7, because 7 would be 8. So, what is it? 0, 1, 8, and then 16? So I guess it would be 15, right? Because that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7. Oh, yeah, okay. 7, 14, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so 14. Yeah, it's 14. So if it's less than 14, then we're moving from there. Otherwise, we're moving 100. Then we sub 1. If it's greater than 0, we need to sleep 1. Then we jump back to sleeping on X. Then we need a keypad to tell it what to read, right? Oh, actually, that doesn't even have to be the same. I can go there, and it can write out to X2. No. We want it to write out to X3. We can read from X2. Because then we just need a little X value here. Oh, that is an X. What do we got? Cool. So we can sleep on X0. I don't even need to do that. Yeah, this can go straight into X2 there. Straight into X2. We're going to move it into the accumulator. Then we're going to multiply it by 7. So if it's 0, right? Or is it 1? 1. We want it to be. So we multiply by 7. We sub 1. Then we move accumulator to dat. Oh. Yeah, we got to get it into to there. No, we need to subtract 1 from it first. Sub 1. Then we multiply by 7. Then we move the accumulator to dat. And we move dat to x1. And we move 7 into the accumulator. That way we know where to read from. And like, that should be it, really. Oh, but extrude. We don't have an extrude. Yeah, I need one in there that does the math. Because we need to output an extrude as well. And then we move 100 to P1. Tell it to extrude. When we're done, we move 0 to P1. I guess we move 100 to P1, like that. Okay, then we pull in one X guy. Really simple job. We're gonna sleep on X0. We're gonna move X0 to accumulator, sub 1, mul 7, and then we're gonna move the accumulator to X3. Okay, so that should All right, let's give it a go. All right, we got a value, multiply it by 7, move that over there. That sets our pointer. We tell it to extrude. And then we move, boom. Wait a sec. Did I get that right? Cutlet, steak, and bacon. Oh, maybe I should, yeah, cutlet. They're all zeros. That's, oh, fat. Oh, did I get the numbers backwards? Fat is high. Okay, I got the numbers backwards. Okay, so fat, that's 111, 000, 101, 000, or that's all zeros. 101, oh. Is that one? Yeah, 101, 0, 111. Okay. Then for this one, for steak, it's 000, 010, 010, 0, 010, 010, 0. Yeah. And then that is 11. Yeah, not 100. It is 11. Okay. Now that we got that sorted better, part not sleeping. Why is what? Move ACC. Yeah, we got a 1. We moved that over X2. Hi. Move X2 into that. Okay. There we go. Then we do 11. Why is that all 3 ones? We put in 1, which is cutlet. Cutlet is all high, fat. Valve 0, 1, 2, all high. So are we messing something up here? Is dat less than 14? Okay. Yeah, we had our numbers backwards. That's what was going wrong. Okay. We didn't turn the valve off, so we need to move 0x3 as well. And then we come back on with an 11. I think that one was pretty simple compared to the last one. Yeah, our production cost is average, power usage is high, lines of code is average. Okay, well, I mean, what, we knocked that out in like 10 minutes, right? Yeah. 20 minutes. That's not bad. That brings us to 2 hours. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week at the regular time on Tuesday. So, cheers.